Hi, and welcome to the introduction meeting for Bicycle Travel Diaries. If you weren't able to join our meeting yesterday on Monday, the 12th of April, this is a good catch-up session for you. This video should be approximately 30 minutes in extent and will cover not only the information that we shared during our meeting, but also will cover some of the questions that were asked during the online meeting, and hopefully that will answer any of the questions that you have. If you do want to get hold of us or you have specific questions that aren't answered in this video, please can you get hold of us at info@openstreets.co.za, and we'd love to help. What we're going to be covering this session is just some introductions to the team. We'll be covering the problem statement and the reason for this project coming to be. I'll describe the project and the outcomes that we are looking to achieve. We'll cover some of the focus areas and look at where it is that you're from and how that works. We'll also look at some project timeline ideas so you can position yourself accordingly. And then we'll also look at what it is that you can expect if you've signed up as either a bicycle champion or discussion group member, what it is you can expect and what it is that we are asking you to commit to. So I'll start with an introduction. My name is Kirsten Wilkins. I'm the Managing Director of Open Streets Cape Town. By profession, I'm an urban designer and architect, and also very, very seriously in love with the idea that bicycles can change the world. I cycle a lot, both socially and in a more serious racing fashion. So I feel like I've got a really good understanding of the cycling ecosystem. I was previously an executive board member of the Pedal Power Association and have worked in cycling commuting for almost 6 years now. So to give you some background to the project and the reason that we are excited about working with you on this is that let me go back a slide here. We feel that cycling as a mode of transport really hasn't been prioritized or considered or invested in by the city of Cape Town in a holistic or spatially just way. We believe that bicycle mobility specifically and active mobility more generally should be centered as a viable, low-cost, low-carbon way for people to access the city safely, easily, and without fear. Now, to give you some background, in 2016, the city of Cape Town developed a cycling strategy to help to guide its decisions and investments in commuter cycling and cycling as a mode of transport. This strategy is reviewed every 5 years and should lead in directing infrastructure investment and spatial planning to assist in building not only the infrastructure necessary for commuter cycling, but also to build investor confidence and to grow the ecosystem of business and investment that cycling brings. We do feel that in the 5 years that the strategy has been in effect for, that it was a good start, but it really hasn't met any of the objectives that it set out to reach. We feel that the cycling strategy needs to be bold, it needs to be specific, it needs to be representative, and importantly, it needs to reflect the experiences, the needs and the challenges faced by people who are commuting, despite of the fact that it's ineffectual and that policy and infrastructure have just not followed to support a growth in commuter cycling. And so in response to that realization and the fact that we are in the year in which the cycling strategy will be reviewed, so it's a once in a 5-year opportunity, Bicycle Travel Diaries is a commuter cycling initiative that will help to map the journeys of cyclists and also map the experiences of cyclists and try and gather both the qualitative and quantitative parts of commuter cycling and gather them together as a key informant for the review of the cycling strategy. So initially we asked bicycle champions from over 20 different underrepresented neighborhoods in Cape Town to tell us their stories of traveling by bicycle over a 3-month period. That was our intent. We have grown significantly in terms of people who want to sign up and the neighborhoods in which they live in. And so the project has grown beautifully so far. So what we'll be doing is we'll be mapping commonly used routes. We'll be understanding shared challenges, and we will be aggregating data in a map form, so spatially, as well as thematically, dependent on sort of challenges and aspects of commuter cycling that are shared across the different underrepresented neighborhoods. So as I said, we've got almost 50 bicycle champions signed up, and it's a very exciting journey that we're on now, as what's looking to be the biggest commuter cycling participation initiative in recent memory. So congratulations, and I'm very excited to be doing this with you. So what happens is that once we've mapped our commuter routes and we've mapped and understood and outlined these barriers to commuter cycling shared by the group, with a really important focus on experience and story-based evidence, we also want to ensure that we're in the process, we're creating a communication platform for communities of riders to get together and chat and really kind of problem solve in the moment. We really want to build community as we go, and so that is an important part of our project. Once we've completed our work, and it does form a key input into the cycling strategy review, we really feel that commuter cycling Cape Town will have a more humanized, more empathic and considered approach, that commuter voices will be heard and understood, and that the City of Cape Town will have a clear picture of the challenges to cycling uptake that can be very specifically addressed through specific projects in the coming years. As well as having a complete picture of where people are actually riding and the decisions that people are actually making based on those challenges. So we're hopeful that our outcomes are realizable and achievable in this time. The focus areas we initially chose, we chose 20 areas based on the fact that we felt that in these different neighborhoods, we would have the greatest chance of success, as we have Open Streets volunteers who are commuter cyclists based in these areas, and we felt that that was a really good start. We opened that up to the public to sign up and to opt in, and to the growing family of the Open Streets movement who believes that cycling is the way to go. And so we have many more areas now represented through our sign up. So more is better. So there's the areas you see on this map, it's not exclusive or exhaustive, but we did feel that these areas really did need a focus on the cycling strategy in particular, and so we did want to make sure that we were successful in these initial focus areas, but the more the better. What I do want to underscore is that the area where you live is the area that you will say is your neighborhood. Although I do realize that when we commute, we often go through many different neighborhoods and spend more time in some than others, but your neighborhood is the neighborhood where you live. So I wanted to just make that clear. We're very excited that multiple riders from neighborhoods have signed up, some commuter cycling groups even, and that's fantastic. We're really excited about the community building aspect of this project. This project does focus specifically on commuter cycling, and that is a bit of a tricky term, I suppose. I mean, when I've been training for a bike race, I've often commuted during the week to pick up extra training time, so it can be a little bit fluffy. But I don't want anyone who is a racing cyclist or a recreational cyclist for sports to feel excluded. I'd love for you to be a part of this project. If you've signed up, don't run away. This is a place for you. But what we do have is data from Strava that is collated for the City of Cape Town to show us where it is that more recreational cyclists who tend to track data on Strava, where they're riding, the frequency with which they're riding. So we do have a lot of data from the recreational cycling groups already through the Strava platform. So you are very welcome, but just to know that we're filling the commuter cycling gap with this project. And so we're going to be focusing a little bit more on day-to-day routes with a lot of people who generally wouldn't track their data. So we're going to be helping with that. In terms of project timelines, it is really important that the time in which we ride and the time in which we gather this data is carefully thought through. We do need to make sure that we have our data collated in time to be considered in the cycling strategy review. But we also know that not everybody wants to commuter cycle in winter. There are a lot of people who will be doing that, who are doing that, who've said, well, I'm going to track my data in winter. That's great. But for the most part, we're going to be focusing our data collection and our project time in the months of August, September, and October. So cooler month of August, spring, beautiful September, October is going to be lovely before the southeaster really kicks in. And it's a really good time for cycling in Cape Town. The weather's helpful and people sort of come out of their winter slumber. So there's lots of support and yes. So in the meantime, so for the remainder of April and then for May, June, and July, we've got some time to prepare. And so what we're going to be doing is in this project preparation time, we're going to already start mapping commonly used routes. So if you're commuting every day, you know which route you're mostly riding. We want to start tracking those, mapping those, and getting a real sense from the community that signed up of what barriers to cycling there are, of what your kind of regular movements are. So we're going to be doing a lot of preparation work and communication with you before the time, so that when we get to riding in August, September, and October, we're all set. In November and December, we'll be collating data. But as you will see a little bit further in the presentation, our collation of data is going to take a bit more of a real-time approach, so that by the time October comes to the end, we are ready to roll with results. That's very important for us in terms of our project planning. So if you signed up for Bicycle Champion, so we've had folks sign up as Bicycle Champions as the riders who will be taking part in the Diary project. And we've got discussion group members who will be helping us to shape the way we think and shape the way that the project progresses. You can sign up for both or one or the other. So that's totally fine. If you're a Bicycle Champion and you've signed up for that, you've opted in to ride with us and for us, what you can expect is the following. Your information will be confidential and anonymous, and you will be invited to join various mechanics and maintenance sessions, just so that in the preparation and our time before Bicycle Diaries starts, that you feel completely equipped and ready to ride your bicycle. We'll also be connecting you with and helping you to meet commuter cyclists near you as we gather people who might be geographically close to you. So look forward to that. And if you're a complete beginner to cycling, I do know a few people have signed up who said, like, a total beginner, like, this is my motivation to start cycling. That's great. We will reach out to you with regards to upskilling in terms of rideability and also access to a bicycle if that is something that you need. And then, of course, you can expect to have access to our reports and our conclusions, because it's our project together, not just an open streets effort. So you'll have access to those. What we ask you to commit to, if you're a Bicycle Champion, is to preparing with us in these coming months, sharing your routes and information about cycling in your neighborhood. And typically what we're looking for in terms of time commitment is the following. We're looking to do 2 interviews with you as a rider, a before interview, sort of, before this whole sort of amazing project blossoms into being what it needs to be, and then an interview in the latter stages of the project to get a sense of how your experience has been, what you've learned, how it's all been for you. And typically each of those interviews will be approximately 15 minutes each. So from a time commitment point of view, that's what we're looking for. We'd love to fit that into your specific schedule. So you'll have loads of time options and slots that you can select, where one of our team members will then interview you. And also we will commit to sending all the interview questions to you beforehand, just so you can get a sense of what we're asking and that you can prepare yourself for that and just feel equipped before the time. There are no right or wrong answers. We really want to understand your experiences and give every cyclist a chance to really express their voice and be heard. And this is one of those moments. In addition to the 2 interview sessions, we're also going to be doing 2 online surveys with you. So we'll be sending those through in the course of the project. The first one will be relatively soon, sort of in the next week or so, definitely before April ends. So that'll be one survey, and then one in the latter stages of the project. You can expect to spend about 30 minutes on that survey. So I don't expect it to be much longer than that, but there will be some more detailed questions for you to answer, so that we can understand a little bit more how we can best prepare for the project. And then we'll be cycling from August to October, as I said, and then Bicycle Champions will be asked to do daily diary entries for this period. In a further slide, I'll talk a little bit more about what I think the diary will look like and what it will feel like. But that daily entry is a really important part of the commitment. We're going to be doing this journey with you, and every day we're going to be checking in, and I think that's going to be as special for us as it will be for you, just seeing how your ebbs and flows go and how your experiences are of cycling in the city. Okay, so if you've signed up to be a discussion group member, this is what you can expect. Relatively similar expectations from us in terms of what the bicycle champions have. Of course, your information will be confidential and anonymous, and that's really important to us. So have to underscore your voice can be as loud and expressive as it needs to be and won't be attached to you as a person in our reporting. You're, of course, even though you're not signed up to be a rider, you're welcome to join our mechanics or maintenance sessions and any upskilling sessions that we offer to the group. You'll still have a chance to connect and meet commuter cyclists in your community, and then you'll have access to our reports and conclusions at the end of the project. What we're asking you to commit to as a discussion group member is by assisting us in adding valuable and helpful insights to our project to keep us on track. We're a relatively small team, and the more voices and the more minds that we have to apply to the problem questions and the results that we get and what to do with that and how do we understand that and analyze that. We really, really want to have a diverse group of thinkers and voices helping to shape the project and keep us accountable to making sure that we reach our outcomes and that our outcomes are representative, broad-based, and thoroughly thought through. And so if you're a part of this discussion group, this is what you're going to be, this is what you can expect. So we'll also ask anyone who's interested in volunteering to help us. If you have any experience in data collection or analysis, there's always an opportunity for you to get involved there. We'll also ask you to be involved in the back and forth conversations on the WhatsApp platforms. Please feel free to jump in there. That'll be a relatively fluid conversation. But in addition to that, sort of those fluid back and forths, we're also going to be holding 3 digital group meetings over the course of the project. So those will be about an hour or an hour and a half long session, and we'll try and be quite specific about those. But that'll be an opportunity for us to really deep dive on some of the issues that we are finding and ways to report on that or ways to help to guide our bicycle champions. We're going to cluster those discussions into 3 sessions. So from a time commitment point of view, that's what you're looking at. And then similar to the bicycle champions, we'll be sending through 2 online surveys, one relatively soon to get a sense of the lay of the land, if you like, to understand more about you, more about your impression about commuter cycling and what it is that you have to offer, as well as your impressions and insights into the commuter cycling landscape. And then there'll be a follow-up survey a little bit further down the line in the latter stages of the project as a follow-up. So that's what you can expect if you're a discussion group member and also a bicycle champion, which are currently the 2 best ways to be involved in the project. All right, so as a wrap up, almost done, I wanted to outline a little bit of what we think a bicycle travel diary will look like. So just for a little bit of background, in I think 2017 or so, we worked with World Wildlife Fund and the Green Trust on a project called Travel Diaries. And as Open Streets, we did work with monitoring, mapping, tracking, understanding how it is that people traveled around the city to get a sense of the growth in low carbon transport and the impact that low carbon transport had on the city of Cape Town. And so we have quite a lot of experience around and some learnings, good learnings, some very good learnings about what works, what creates fatigue, like what do people want to be involved in, how does it feel like, on day 19. So we've got a little bit of input on that, and so we've taken some of those learnings and sort of conceptualized this bicycle travel diary. So what we wanted to do is we wanted the diary to be data light, so we wanted it to be super easy to do. We also don't want it to be able to be lost. Handing you a book and asking you to fill it in for 3 months and then hoping it comes back is a lot of, it's a burden. So we want to be quite kind of tech savvy. We do want a daily reflection. So even if you're not riding for a whole week, then the reflection will be, didn't ride today, really just didn't feel like it, or didn't ride today, couldn't be bothered, didn't ride today, was working from home. Every day matters, even though you're not traveling. So that's just a question we had from the audience before. These reflections will be linked to interviews. So in your follow-up interview, you might say, hey, like we noticed that, you just really just hated riding on like Mondays. Like, do you want to tell us more about like why? We just want to really understand. So we don't make assumptions about your data, and it gives you a chance to really sort of round out your sharing of your bicycle experience. And then we will be mapping your route. I'll chat a little bit about that as well. And it's very important that we help you to connect. So that's the travel diary. So how that looks practically is really that we have a dedicated number where we would like your diary entry to be a voice recording over WhatsApp. So we feel it's like relatively easy, and it's like, hey, just telling us about your experience. Hey, this is how it went. And you'll be answering every day, you'll be answering 5 identical questions. And those questions answered should take about a minute to answer. And so your diary commitment really is a 1-minute WhatsApp voice message every day to a dedicated number that only our team will be listening to. It won't be available to anyone else. And the questions that you'll be answering will be around the distance and the time that you traveled today, if you cycled, the route that you took, the reason for traveling, your experience of the route infrastructure, and then your personal experience of the trip around safety and just how you felt, and a reflection of your experience. And so we're going to be covering those daily, and then we have a team in the background who will be collating that data. Importantly, you can share a message in the language of your choice. And you can use it as expressive language as you like. That's also fine. We're fine with you talking about motorists in a just so way. If you do have access to a GPS tracking app like Map My Run or Strava, we would love for you to be able to track that and do a screenshot, send us a daily screenshot of your route, or link to your route if that's your tracking app. That's also easy to do on WhatsApp. If you do have that capability. If you don't, and also, like me, I don't track any of my commuter routes, mostly because I actually just feel uncomfortable having my phone on me, in a way that's sort of accessible. So if you would like assistance with digitally tracking or mapping your route, we're going to help you with that. So we will either ride the route with you, we will help you with a device, or we will just do a mapping exercise where you can just verbally go through the routes that you take. For the most part, folks are riding kind of commonly used routes, and that's really what we're looking to map. If, on one day you sort of, pop out for coffee and then, and you're covering the whole city, that's great. Ride all you can, but we really want to make sure that the most commonly used commuter routes are mapped so that they can go into the cycling strategy as places where infrastructure is needed. So we are going to be a little bit more discerning around that, and also not have a huge burden of expectation on you as a bicycle champion to map every route. We would love if you could show us, but we're looking for the most commonly used routes, but your daily experiences are what really matter. So that is the diary. Okay, so what's next? What you can expect next after this, having a look at this recording, is please make sure that you're on our WhatsApp group platform. We've got a discussion group. We've got a group for bicycle champions and one for discussion group members. So please make sure you're on one of those, either one or both of those, depending on your interest. We will be sending, before the end of April, we're going to be sending that first detailed survey. So we really want you to have a look at that and really just kind of pour yourself into that, because that's going to set the tone for the project. We're going to start setting up interviews with our bicycle champions, and setting up a time for that works for you. And then for the discussion group members, we're going to be contacting you around booking out a date for that first of those 3 discussion times that I mentioned. And we can deep dive on really the inception of the project and some of the challenges that we already have. And we can kind of get together, put our heads together and see how we can get the best results already. So that's really what you can expect for the rest of April. May, June, and July, we'll be doing all of our prep work. So everyone will have sort of different tasks to do, getting us ready for our bicycle diaries, August, September, and October. So that's really what you have to expect from Bicycle Travel Diaries. Thank you for listening to this video. If you have any questions, just a reminder, please pop us an email, info@openstreets.co.za, and we'd love to help you. You can also contact us if you're already on the WhatsApp group or on either any social media channels. You're welcome to do that. You are able to invite more people to sign up until the end of April. So you can share that sign up link on social media if you like. And that'd be great. We'd love to have even more people signing up. The more, the better, it looks like. We already are on track to be the largest commuter cycling participation event in terms of creating policy ever. So we're already on track for that. So the more, the better. Thank you so much for listening, and really looking forward to talking with you, riding with you, and shaping the future of cycling with you. Thank you so much. And I really hope you have a really great rest of the day.